Hi, my name is Annie Deveney. I moved to Salida May 27, 2010, and I was forced to move here by my parents, but I was really open to the idea because it was something different. Salida has changed me in so many ways for the good, and I'm really glad I moved here. But here's some stories about this my Salida life.
Hi, I'm Pidgey Kabari, and I've lived in Salida all my life, was right at 80 years. And my folks moved here from Kansas, and my father worked on the railroad. But my folks really, well, there were 7 children, so we really didn't have a lot of money. So we never really went to downtown at all. The downtown was, through the years, I got to know them after I was out of school, there was at least 5 dress shops on the main street of town. Several restaurants were in the area. The F.W. Woolworth was right there on the main street of town, and this is where I first went to work as I graduated from high school. I worked with the Salidan Candy Kitchen for a long time.
That's where you met your husband?
And this is where I met my husband, not knowing it would be at the time. Dentals, there was dentists in town. There were several dentists on the main street of town. And of course nowadays you don't see all this, which is kind of sad. It's gone to more artwork and stuff, which I'm not against that, but it just is kind of, it's not a town where people go and congregate like they used to. With their families at night. There was always crowds on the street. It was hard to find a parking place.
Do you feel like Salida has lost that family-oriented town
Yes.
like they were?
I don't feel like Salida is as family-oriented as it was before, because at that time you took your children, everybody went. And nowadays you don't see much of that.
If you ever moved, like, would you? Like, if you had the opportunity, you would always want to stay
I would
here?
never move, no. And I really am not a traveler. I don't really care to, do a lot of traveling, go places.
Yeah.
And of course, we used to have a railroad here that
When did that stop?
Oh, it stopped. Gee, we weren't married when they took the railroad, so that's been a good 60 years ago that they took the railroad out, and that was a very thriving thing in the town, was the railroad, because there was a lot of railroad men that worked right here in the shops. And then also Monarch Quarry was quite the thing at the time too. But of course it was 6 months, and then 6 months they closed down because of the winter and everything. Well, the scenery is one thing. There's good sporting things here, and it really, the schools aren't that bad for children at all. I mean, they've got some real good schools, and it depends upon what you're really looking for. It's been a good place to live. It was a good place to raise my children. They did good in school, and my grandchildren have all gone through school here, so it's been good for all of them.
Hi, my name is Terry Deveney. I'm Annie's mom, and we moved to Salida 3 years ago, May 17th, actually. We moved from Oklahoma City, where we had been living for probably 30 years. In Oklahoma City, Chuck owned a homebrew supply store, and I was a realtor and also a physical therapist at one time. We had been coming to Salida probably for 7 or 8 years. We had people that had told us we needed to come up here to ski, and that's how we discovered it. We ended up at Monarch and loved it. And even when we were in Oklahoma, we would come every year, and we would actually buy season passes to Monarch, and because we were up here 3 or 4 times a year. And then came up in the summer also. And Chuck and I have traveled a lot, and we'd always tried to choose a town, or everywhere we went we said, could we live here? And there really was only one other place that even came close, and that was in Port Townsend, Washington. And that was just too far away from Oklahoma. and it was a really small town, smaller than Salida. But when we found Salida, we asked that question, do you think we could live here? And both of us said yes. We loved the vibe of the town. We loved the outdoor activities. We knew that we were probably either going to have to buy a job up here or bring one with us. And when Annie told us that she would move after we were leaving one time, she said she would come up here, so it was on. And we found out that Roxy's was for sale, and it took us about a year to get everything negotiated and sold in Oklahoma and then up here. It's been a good move. We have become very involved in the community. Both Chuck and I are currently on the FIBARC board. I am vice president of the board of directors of the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm also co-chairing Art Walk this year. So we're very vested in the community. We love the community. We want to see it thrive. We've made a lot of friends here. Again, just enjoy everything about the town. Don't think we'll ever leave. It's always nice to come back when we go on vacation somewhere. It's always good to get back to Salida and the quietness and the calmness of it. So again, I don't think we're not planning on leaving. We're pretty vested here.
Hi, I'm Allie White, and I moved to Salida because of my parents. It was not by choice. My dad was a cop in Austin for 25 years. He was really into that police work, but after a while, you get tired of seeing the same stuff and having to deal with hard situations and everything, so he decided he wanted to get out of that big town area. So we moved to Salida. My parents actually heard about Salida about, like their first few years of marriage when they went to Crestone and broke down and had to come to Salida, and decided that they would come for a visit, and my sister fell in love. And so she's not like me. She's not sociable. People don't really like her, no offense to her, but so we moved here, and the first 6 months was really hard for me. I was used to big town or big cities, buildings, not seeing like any mountains. It was always hot because obviously I lived in Texas and it was really hot and humid, and we never really did outside sports besides swimming. And obviously I don't know if you knew this, but I was a swimmer, and that's all I did outside was swimming, and I never really had the opportunity to do other things. And when I got here, I was shocked by seeing like mountains, and like there's all these sports like mountain biking, and you could play sports outside without going outside for 5 minutes and drenching in sweat. And then the first day I was actually at Salidan High School, I was offered weed, and at first I was like, what? Like in Austin we don't see that every day. And at first I was like, I don't even know what that is. Like, okay. But that was just a whole new experience to me, and I'm glad I moved here. I mean, of course I've had some rough patches, but I'm really glad I moved here because I got the courage to go outside and run and just be outside and be more active, and like we can go downtown at the park and just hang out and have fun. When I get older, I might come back to Salida. I really enjoy the small town, but maybe it's a little too small. But I want to live in Colorado where there are mountains and I can do outside stuff, and it's my choice.
Just because you live in a small community like Salida doesn't mean you can't travel places.
I want to travel to Italy someday.
I want to travel to only the Galapagos Islands.
I want to travel to Europe and go visit England and Ireland and Spain and France and Italy, a bunch of places.
I'd like to travel to Nicaragua.
The boot, Italy.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you?
When you get out of
Bora Bora.
Salida, Bora
Bora Bora.
Where's that?
Tropical islands and stuff, just clear water, just great.
Beautiful.
Great.
Big cat.
Yeah. Bora Bora, bro. I want to go to Hawaii, man.
I want to go to Italy and eat pizzas all day.
I want to go to Australia.
Canada. Alaska.
Thank you for watching This Salida Life, and I wish the best to my senior class of 2013.
Short changed, I was getting even harder.